All right, here we are I am taking this orchid that was potted. This guy right here. So I can see the name of it in case you want to look it up. Believe it's a native of like Kenya and stuff like that. And it was in a small, I should have showed you beforehand, but I forgot. It was in a small clear pot. We're going to mount it to a piece of tree fern. I have this stuff a long time. It could be Asmunda. Doesn't matter. It's all the same stuff. I recovered some of the sphagnum that it was potted in. It was potted, interestingly, in sphagnum and pieces of charcoal. Very interesting way to pot a plant. This is not mounted yet. I just got it sitting on there. I very carefully wrapped the roots, some of them that were a little more like, the ones that were inside the medium. I basically tucked them under. Then there's these roots that appear to be a little photosynthetic. You see them down here. They're green. So those I left exposed since they were exposed before. That's why they're green. They photosynthesize like the leaves. And I left it as undisturbed as possible near the crown. As I said, I used the sphagnum anyway. So the sphagnum that was already packed under the plant, I just left it. It was in very good shape. This has not been potted for very long. So now we're going to take copper wire because this is a big plant, and I don't know, the clear thread, I think it's eventually going to break. And the copper wire is better. We could remove it if you want without any real issues, and you only need a few pieces. So I'm going to start wiring this up. I use one of these tiny screwdrivers to punch hole through there, and then you can thread. This is the wire to hang it. I'm going to bend a piece of this. That's, I believe it's aluminum. This way you don't have any rusting. And of course the copper isn't going to rust. Okay. Okay, so there it is, fully mounted. I just realized that I have black wire. You know, it's coated. I have an electronic shop, so I took some 22 gauge solid wire, and this way you don't see it, rather than that copper, which you would have seen. And it looks really good. It's mounted very well. I'm going to put the hook in, attach the name, there's the wire, attach the name to the back, and we'll show you the finished product once more before we hang it up. And there you have it. That's how I mount an orchid. This orchid has pendant flowers, so it should look really good when and if it blooms. Here's the back, the ID, and everything's hunky-dory. Now we go hang it in the collection. One last thing. I gave it a good soaking. As you can see here, you want that slab that you mount it to be good and waterlogged. So let it drain out, and now you won't have to water it for several days till all this stuff dries out. Especially now that it's summer, it's pretty humid. This will stay wet for probably 2-3 days. Let it dry out good before you water it again. But don't let it stay dry for too long. Okay, here's an orchid I recently purchased. I recently got this one online. There's the name of it. You could read it. And look at the ridiculous hook. I can't tell you how many times this thing has fallen already. I mean, come on, a little piece of wire like this. So we're going to have to correct this. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to put a respectable sized piece of aluminum wire in there. But otherwise it's mounted pretty good. They use monofilament. The only thing is if that ever breaks, of course this is going to come loose unless it's established and attaches itself to the wood. All right. All right, there's a new hook I wired in. That goes right behind the monofilament. And now you have to worry about knocking the damn thing down every time you gently brush it. All right, very good.